We will have some great clips on our YouTube channel. It's going to be some funny segments, some funny shorts from all of our times we've done commentary so far. I know you guys are going to love it. We've had fun just watching all of it back and just seeing
I laugh like a little schoolgirl every time.
we truly are just two idiots that love professional wrestling, but we have fun doing what we do. What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 5-Star Jobbers Podcast. I'm Cody.
And I am sincerely sorry for my use of profanity in the previous episodes.
Yes. So, because of his profanity, YouTube has asked us to give a formal apology and to let you guys know of some words that we will no longer be using. Thanks to this idiot. That's why I have the censor for a reason. But anyway...
Well, you didn't use it last week, and that's why we got in trouble.
Well, here's the thing. You say it so much that it's hard for me to keep track. Okay? But regardless, here we go. We, the 5-Star Jobbers, will no longer use the words or
I can still say damn it, though, right?
No, you can't say damn it. Son of a
This is such bull.
Well, you should watch mouth.
Mother.
Me. Anyways, we want to apologize to everybody for the foul use of language here. We are a family-friendly show. But anyway, guys. Exactly. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for watching all of our episodes. If you're new to the podcast, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us wherever you stream podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're on everything. But also, we're on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can see all of our commentary content on YouTube as well. And we also want to let you guys know some upcoming events that are going to be going on very soon.
And I will let you guys know that once again, I have been turned down for an OnlyFans page. But if you'd like to hear us say naughty words that aren't censored and don't get us in trouble with this, with the powers that be at YouTube, then let us know if you'd be interested in a Patreon. It'd be really something very affordable, $5 a month, and we'd be able to do lots of segments, where we talk about things that are dirty.
Exactly. I know it's going to be like Christmas for you.
Or like every day.
Exactly. But anyway, guys, I'm going to let you guys know some upcoming events that are going to be going on pretty soon. So first off, Guardians Legacy is back. It'll be August 3rd at the Rosenwald High School Gym in Panama City, Florida. Doors open at 6 and the bell time is at 7. Also happening August 3rd, Kraken Pro Wrestling makes another return to the Mott Littman Gym in Tifton, Georgia. Doors open at 6, bell time is at 7 as well. Great events coming up and a lot of great things happening in the world of wrestling. Speaking of, SummerSlam is around the corner and it's shaping up to be a great event so far. I mean, this is the first time that SummerSlam has gone for 2 nights, I believe. And so already we've announced some great matches and it's going to be an incredible event.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've been building SummerSlam since WrestleMania, and then we've got the clear main event matches for the titles where we've got Nia Jax versus Bayley, and we've got Damian Priest versus the King General or the Ring General. They have been kind of a little flippy-floppy with how they've been using
one, whichever one you prefer.
But Gunther versus Priest is going to be, that should be a great hard-hitting match. And then, of course, they announced formally that LA Knight and Logan Paul will be facing each other for the United States title. We've got Cody Rhodes going against Solo Sikoa for the WWE Undisputed title. And, a lot more to come. I expect they'll be probably finalizing or announcing a couple more matches this week on Raw and SmackDown. I do know that there is a multi-tag team match this week on SmackDown that will determine the number one contender. I can only imagine that number one contender will challenge DIY at SummerSlam as well. So Just say there's all kinds of great matches coming up. It's always an exciting time of the year. For parents, you're excited to send your kids back to school so that you don't have to entertain them. And, for kids, they're very, they're sad because they've got to go back to school. But we can all get excited about SummerSlam.
Absolutely. And so, in preparation for SummerSlam, we thought that we would do a top 10 because we haven't done one in a while.
We haven't done one in a while.
But we thought it'd be fitting to do a top 10 of the best.
We thought it'd be fitting to do a top 10.
We thought that we would do a top 10.
We thought that we would do a top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're an idiot. We would do a top 10 of the best SummerSlam matches. And I think this is going to be interesting because we were talking about it before, but a lot of our matches that we put together that we thought that we would put on the list, I think some of them are going to run in different areas, but I think we pretty much have the same list for the most part. I know you've got some that I don't have. I'm probably going to have some that you don't have, but
as always,
this is just our personal.
Yeah, as always, there's differences. Mine is right, yours is wrong.
There's no right or wrong.
Objectively,
there is, but it's all about personal preference here.
No, it's not.
Because here's the thing: we both grew up in different time periods. You were more Attitude Era. I was more Ruthless Aggression Era.
Yep.
And so it's going to be different regardless. But nonetheless, we want you guys to let us know what your top 10 is as well.
That's the important part. Like, we do these top 10s. Come on, people.
We want interaction.
Give us your top 10. I'll tell you what. You guys give us a top 10. And we'll randomly draw. And we'll decide from the top 10. And we will buy your ticket to the next live event at either DCCW or Guardians Legacy. How about that?
There you go. Hey. We want your opinions. We want to hear from you guys. We encourage you to interact with everything that we have right now on social media, through our podcast, whatever it may be. We want to hear from you guys. So, with that in mind, let's get into the top 10. So, we'll start at 10 and then work our way up. So, I'll let you start it off first. Age before beauty. So, who was your number 10?
Don't you think you forgot something?
What do you mean?
I was going to give my little,
yeah. Sorry, I forgot that you were going to do the whole spiel. So I'll let you kick it off with a little bit of history here. Some important information, some stats, if you will, about SummerSlam. So
this is what happens when you work with unprofessional people. So
you don't know the half of it. You should see all of our commentary content. Which, by the way, before you get into that, we will have some great clips on our YouTube channel. It's going to be some funny segments, some funny shorts from all of our times that we've done commentary so far. I know you guys are going to love it. We've had fun just watching all of it back and just seeing.
Oh, I laugh like a little schoolgirl every time.
We truly are just two idiots that love professional wrestling, but we have fun doing what we do. And so that's going to be out on YouTube before you know it.
Make sure to subscribe so you can get the alerts. They're hilarious. We'll try to do our best to update on the websites, but honestly, the best thing to do, subscribe, follow, and the minute we drop the content, it'll be there. So the first content will be dropping this week.
Yep.
Make sure you're following.
Exactly, because if you don't, you won't get anything. And plus, we've got a goal. We need to get to 300 subscribers by the end of this year.
That's a super easy goal. All we need is one subscriber from each of you.
Exactly. Just share it with your friends and say, hey, look at these two idiots.
I mean, sharing this with your friends is way better than chlamydia.
You got that right. I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, I've been peeing blisters for weeks, thanks very much.
Anyways, get into it.
So, we're in SummerSlam season, so I thought it'd be fun to go over a little bit of history, being that I'm the old, archaic historian of the professional wrestling business in this group.
That's what we all know and love you for.
But yeah, the first SummerSlam took place in summer of 1988. So did I. So SummerSlam and myself are the same age. So, I have a little bit of a connection with old SummerSlam. We're like college buddies. The first main event in SummerSlam was the Mega Powers, Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage versus the Mega Bucks, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giant. The winner of that match was Hulk and Macho when Andre and Ted were distracted by another debut for SummerSlam, Miss Elizabeth's Panties. And this would be the first occasion of any kind in which a valet exposed her panties in order to provide a wonderful distraction for the competitors.
Yep.
I, for one, can go back and watch that with great bliss at many times.
I think a lot of men can.
SummerSlam 1995 was the very first SummerSlam appearance of our COO, Paul Levesque, also known as Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the Blue Blood, the Game,
the Cerebral Assassin,
the Cerebral Assassin, the Authority,
the King of Kings,
the man who makes Miss McMahon squeal nightly.
Anyways,
and then the final one is If you want to know what the best advertising promotional poster is of all time, SummerSlam 2003. If you know, you know. Cha-ching. I always roll a hard 8, and I don't play craps.
I'm not sure if that's the best history lesson for everybody, but, it's history nonetheless. But anyway.
If I was an 11-year-old boy, it's the only history I care about.
Touche. But anyway, now it's time to get into our top 10. So
let's do it.
Since you started off with the history lesson, I'll go ahead and start off with my number 10 on here. So like you said, we've got a very differing list, but we've got some that I think are going to run in correlation with each other, but it's probably going to be in different areas. But
yeah, mine will be in the right order. Yours will be in the wrong order. We've already established this. You have no respect for history.
We'll see about that.
Young gun.
Anyway, my number 10, I put John Cena versus AJ Styles in 2016. Incredible match, incredible build. I could watch that match back and forth like forever. Like, it was probably one of the greatest matches I've seen in a while.
So, I'll actually give you the respect where respect is due. This one was on my honorable mentions list. Like I say, it wasn't on my list, but I guess we didn't have it too far away.
Right.
This is a fantastic match. I did love the lead-in, and I love when AJ Styles punches John Cena in the face. Fantastic match. AJ had come in that earlier in the year in the Royal Rumble. This was one of those matches. I think a lot of people, especially at the time, I think we were expecting John Cena to get the win over AJ Styles, with John Cena being the WWE guy and AJ Styles very much being the not WWE guy, being the Impact guy, being the New Japan guy. And so for AJ, they put on a great match, and this is one of those matches where anybody who's a Cena hater, and I was a Cena hater for many years, anybody who's a Cena hater has to give respect to this match that John Cena kept up, but had a great match with somebody like AJ Styles, who,
absolutely.
He just has a motor for that goes on and on and on. Like, that guy does not get gassed.
No, he does not.
So fantastic match. Great lead up, great finish. It didn't make my list just because there's so many good matches.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's a great match. So my number 10, this is an old person's choice right here, but honestly, these are two of the best technical wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling, and they put on exactly that, a historic technical wrestling match during a SummerSlam card that otherwise just sucked. And that is Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect, SummerSlam 1991 for the Intercontinental title.
I've actually got that one a little bit higher up on my list, surprisingly. Yeah. So,
well, it's a fantastic match. Anybody who is young enough to have never seen it, do yourself a favor, go on to Peacock WWE Library, watch it, or go to YouTube and watch it. It's available lots of places.
Yep.
But watch that match. It's phenomenal display of technical wrestling, quality selling, just very mental wrestling. We live in a world where some people do that really well nowadays, but they're few and far between.
Right.
And this was a time where there wasn't a whole lot of, like I said, this SummerSlam 91 was not a good card. No. But this was the diamond in the rough.
Yes, definitely. All right, so moving on to my number 9, I have Triple H versus Shawn Michaels in 2002.
How dare you?
Unsanctioned match.
How dare you? This is 9 for you?
Hey, like you said, it's different for everybody. It's different for me. But
if your balls weren't covered by a seat cover right now, I'd be kicking them.
Regardless, this was definitely a top 10 match.
Damn it.
Hey, you remember the rules.
Use the censor. That's what we paid for it for.
Whatever. But anyway, Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. This is when Shawn Michaels just came back from a vicious attack from some mystery man, but come to find out it was Triple H, and then this just sparks their rivalry after Triple H took out HBK from his return. But from beginning to end, this match was nothing but brutal, but fantastic match overall. But I'll let you go ahead because you're giving me the scowl. Go ahead and say your piece. Get it all out of your system.
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm going to wait till I can talk about it myself because you suck. Number 9 for me is the Demon, or himself, Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins, SummerSlam 2016 for the inaugural Universal title.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
This was a fantastic match. Unfortunately, during the match, Finn Balor did get injured, the famous labrum tear that put him out for quite some time.
Yeah.
He had to relinquish the title the very next night, and they've never gotten him back to the spot that he deserves, which is one of the top spots in the entire company. It's like I said, I don't understand for the life of me. Whenever I see Finn Balor, I honestly get angry that he's not a top guy.
Yeah.
Like, I love him in the Judgment Day. I love the things that he's done. But to me, you've got a guy who puts on a banger of a match like this, and he tore his labrum not at the end of the match, in the early phases of the match.
Yeah.
And he puts on a banger with Seth Rollins for 25 plus minutes.
Yeah.
With 20 of them with a torn labrum. This is a fantastic match from bell to bell. It was a good build up. I mean, they had the rocket strap on Finn, and honestly, they never should have taken it off of him. But just get away from all the rest of the political and booking BS and go watch this match if you haven't seen it. Finn versus Seth, SummerSlam 2016. I mean, just absolutely. I mean, two of the best today. Just absolutely. I mean, just watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, moving on to number 8. My number 8 was John Cena versus Daniel Bryan in 2013. Look, you can give me that look all you want, but this is a good match.
I don't think it's a bad match at all. It's a great match, but the fact of the matter is that this match is just one step better than HBK versus Triple H. I fear for your children.
Regardless, I remember watching this match and thinking that this is what I've wanted to see for a while, because at that time Daniel Bryan was not being utilized like he should. Everybody recognized that he was a workhorse and he deserved better than what he was getting. And so this was his moment to shine in this match, and boy, did he ever.
Yes, I agree.
And so
fully.
This match for me is obviously going to be a top 10 for me. You can put it however you want to, but this is how I felt about this match. Easily number 8 for me.
All right, number 8 for me, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels versus the bad guy, Razor Ramon, in the return ladder match for the IC title at SummerSlam 1995.
That's 8 for you?
There's a lot of really great ones, buddy. And I will say, the only reason this one's not higher in the list is because of a little bit of a botch finish.
Regardless,
the original ladder match, WrestleMania 10, Razor Ramon, 1994 versus HBK for the two IC titles being combined. The unification match is always the one that people are talking about the most when they talk about Shawn and Razor, and they talk about the first ladder match. And it's the first major ladder match in the WWF. It's not the first ladder match really, but it's in the lore of the last 40 years.
Right.
There have been ladder matches, but they haven't necessarily been televised. They weren't on premium live events or pay-per-views, as they were called at the time. So this is considered, ladder match number 2, and it's a return match from WrestleMania 10. So this match is absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, there's a little bit of a disjointed finish at the end. So that's why it goes a little bit lower, just because it wasn't pristine the whole way through. But is it brutal? Yes, it is. Is the work rate of Razor and Shawn phenomenal? Yes, it is. Shawn gets his win back here, wins the IC title from Razor. So, of course, I can't be nothing. I'm nothing but happy with this one. Phenomenal match. Like I said, if you're younger, you haven't seen this match, go back and watch this match. This is what ladder matches are supposed to be.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to number 7. Like I said before, I had Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect a little bit higher on my list, so I've got them at number 7 on mine. So you've already done a good enough explanation on there, so I'll let you go ahead and go with your number 7.
My number 7 is The Undertaker versus Edge in a Hell in a Cell match in SummerSlam 2008. This was a really good match.
Yes.
This was the Undertaker getting vengeance for Edge taking away his World Heavyweight Championship by cashing in on him at a non-televised event.
I think it was a pay-per-view.
Was it the pay-per-view?
No. It was a televised event, because I remember watching this, and it was Mark Henry just demolished The Undertaker, and then they carried him off. But yeah, absolutely. But I got this one a little bit higher, not just for the match sake, but just because I'm also an Undertaker mark, as everybody knows. But anyway.
Well, the thing what I appreciate about this match, and what makes it make my list, because, I mean, there's lots of great Hell in a Cell matches. There's lots of great Undertaker matches. I mean, honestly, I think The Undertaker and Triple H, I believe, have had the most SummerSlam appearances of any wrestlers in the WWE/WWF.
Yes.
So there's lots of great Undertaker matches. But the reason this really works for me, from Bad Blood until now, with the exception of WrestleMania 15, which was not a great Hell in a Cell match between The Undertaker and the Big Boss Man, but between Bad Blood in 97 and at this point, all the Hell in a Cell matches, not to say that they were the same, but were very brutal, bloody, hardcore matches.
Right.
This was the first Hell in a Cell match, and I believe that nobody bled. Was it this?
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Yeah, nobody bled. Edge and The Undertaker have both gone on, to talk about this match and how they weren't allowed to bleed, and so they had to work to figure out a different way to captivate the audience, to really sell the violence of everything that's going on. Eventually ends with Edge going through the mat. Just an absolute masterclass of a match between two fantastic wrestlers.
Yes.
When they had handcuffs put on them, not to say like they were major handcuffs, but to say like they were told, you can't do this.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like we said before, like you can get away with a lot of things and you can make things look great without color.
Yes. Now, a lot of times I think color is necessary. As I was talking about the other day when Solo beat Cody, I think it required more than a 1-2-3. It required Solo holding Cody's head up from the mat with it bleeding profusely.
Right.
If you notice, he got the 1-2-3, and then the following SmackDown, they've got Cody tied up in the ropes.
Yeah.
Helplessly watching as his mentor and friend is being beaten profusely.
Right.
It's almost like they had to make up for the fact that the ending of the pay-per-view or the premium live event wasn't devastating enough to Cody.
And so they're just making up for it the following week.
Meanwhile, at the same time, on Dynamite, you have the turn of Mariah May on Toni Storm, and that is almost exactly how I talked about Solo and Cody. She picks her head up, and it's just bleeding profusely.
Yeah.
They end the show with that, and you don't have to do anything for the rest of the time between Mariah May and Toni Storm. That match is sold for All In.
100%.
Like they don't even have to touch, talk, or do anything for the rest, like for the next couple of weeks before All In comes in. That, like I said, color absolutely can really up the intensity of a rivalry. But yeah, when you have two guys like Edge and Undertaker who are so good at their craft and they can tell the story and they can have brutality, but not necessarily have it be horrific, like say horrific brutality,
right,
or like gory brutality. It like I said, it was a fantastic match. They did a great job, and like I said. Name any other Hell in a Cell match where no one bled that's as good as this one.
Honestly, I can't think of any.
Exactly.
The only one I can think of, this is probably the worst Hell in a Cell match, was The Fiend and Seth Rollins.
Oh, yeah.
That ended in disqualification.
Yeah.
It's like what Six Pac was saying.
Hell in a Cell can't end in disqualification.
Yeah.
Like, for the life of me, like that, I literally got up mad watching that because I was like, there's no disqualifications in a Hell in a Cell.
Right.
Like, there can't be. Because if there were, that would mean that Shawn's win was wrong. That would mean that Undertaker's win against Mankind would be wrong. Like, there's no such thing as disqualifications in a Hell in a Cell.
It was stupid. But anyway, moving on to number 6. I've got Bret Hart versus Owen Hart in the steel cage in 1994 for the championship.
All right. Once again, you've got a match I have a little bit higher, but it's not too different, so I'm not going to give you crap on this one.
Right. Well, this is obviously going to be top 10 for us.
Yeah.
It could be argued it'd be like top 5 or top 10 or however you want to place it, but this match as a whole, this sibling rivalry that they had created was just absolutely just a masterpiece. Mm-hmm. I would say probably one of the most entertaining, but also very technical matches that we've ever seen at SummerSlam.
Yep. Absolutely just a masterclass between two master technicians on how to work, how to sell, how to tell a story. It didn't have to, like I said, it didn't have to be violent. There didn't have to be blood. But they're selling the emotion.
Exactly.
I think it's a story that's so near and dear to people's heart, sibling rivalry. And those two told the story just perfectly.
Perfectly. Yeah. It was amazing.
Like Bret Hart to this day still talks about the sibling rivalry stuff that he did with Owen, because at the time, Owen wasn't getting the push that either Bret or Owen felt that he should get, and Owen was about to leave the business.
Yeah.
Like he was about to leave and just go do some kind of ho-hum 9-to-5 job. And it was Bret who pushed to have the sibling rivalry with his brother. And of course, we've got the opening match between Bret and Owen at WrestleMania. Was it 9 or 10?
I want to say 9, but
I'm gonna say 10.
Yeah,
because
you might be right.
I think this match is the return match. And obviously Bret wins both. Owen wins the.
Owen wins.
Owen wins at WrestleMania 10, and then Bret wins this match to retain his title at SummerSlam in 1994.
Right.
So this was like, I guess, the finalization of the rivalry.
Right.
And it was a great story. It's a great match.
Another one you should definitely go check out.
100%. And it's like, me, I give all the respect in the world to Bret Hart, but as far as, I'm a Shawn Michaels guy. I mean, I can't say this. I don't give Bret his flowers enough, probably. I can give him nothing but flowers for this match.
Absolutely. And deservedly so.
Yep.
What you got for number 6?
So, number 6 is I've got Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero in a ladder match for custody of young Dominic Mysterio, SummerSlam 2005.
I've got this one significantly higher on here, but I'll give you my reasons as to why when you hear it.
You're such a ruthless aggression, Mark.
That's what I'm saying. We're different time periods, but I'll give you my reasons as to why in a little bit. But just go ahead.
All right, it's a great. Listen, I'm going to let you talk about this one because you obviously are more passionate. Because
this one I've got a personal connection with, and I'll explain why.
So I'm going to leave it at that. You give me number. Did you give me number 6 already?
Yep. It was Bret versus Owen.
All right. So now give me number 5.
All right. Number 5 for me, I've got Undertaker versus Edge, Hell in a Cell.
Okay, like I said, we've already gone there, and then I say I've got Bret versus Owen at number 5 here.
Okay,
so go with number 4.
Number 4 for me was the ladder match: Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, 95.
Yep. Number 4 for me: Bret Hart versus Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, for the IC title at SummerSlam 1992. Many of which people will say this is Davey Boy's greatest match of all time.
Easily.
This match took place in England in front of Davey Boy's friends, family. I mean, obviously, friends, family, anything with Bret Hart. There's friends and family there. But there's something different about wrestling in one's own country, and I think that most American wrestlers will take that for granted. But when you look at guys like Davey Boy Smith, you look at Gunther, you look at Drew McIntyre, Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley. There's something special when you're not from this country about being able to wrestle in your homeland, and to get the win too. For the IC title. This match, I think this is one of the few Meltzer 5 stars for a WWF product.
Right.
A lot of people will put this in the top 10 matches of all time. So, once again, if you haven't seen it, go watch now.
Yes.
I don't really think I talk a lot. I have a lot of fancy words that I can use. I don't use them most of the time. But I honestly, I'm not going to do this match justice with my lip service. You just need to watch it.
You need to watch it for yourself.
Yeah.
All right, so since we're in the top 5 now, we've already done number 4. So we're top 3 now.
Yep.
Number 3 for me was John Cena versus CM Punk in 2011. So with this one, I'm sure a lot of you remember that CM Punk's contract was expiring, and he was not looking to re-sign.
Well, that already happened.
His contract was expiring that night.
No, that was for Money in the Bank that his contract was expiring, and he won, and he left.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I got it mixed backwards on there. But yeah, so when he came back, John Cena was essentially gifted the WWE Championship, which...
Because they didn't know if Punk was going to come back or not. So
exactly.
when Punk came back with the title, you have two guys holding the world title.
Exactly. So then you have the unification of titles with this match at SummerSlam, and... honestly, it delivered just like it did at Money in the Bank. Probably, in my opinion, I would say one of the best SummerSlam matches of all time.
It's hard to say which match is better. Truthfully, I think if this match took place in Chicago, there's no question whatsoever that it would be considered the greater match.
Right.
But the Money in the Bank match taking place at Chicago, that crowd was insane.
Oh, yeah.
There was...
And it truly, created a... division, but just in your soul, because you're like, I want John Cena to win because I want the championship to stay in WWE.
No. See,
but then on the other hand,
at that point, I was so ticked off. I was watching Impact almost exclusively at that point, and I wasn't happy about it.
Right.
But I was watching it because I was so pissed off with WWE's booking, and I was a CM Punk.
I was the same way.
I was a CM Punk guy from his ROH and Impact days, and when they brought him to WWE, I was like, "Oh, I'm excited to watch this guy." And then when they relegated him to ECW and the bad WWE,
bad WWE,
don't do that again.
Never.
The handling of everyone in ECW then, but especially CM Punk. I just got frustrated again. I just couldn't watch. Here's a guy who can literally take the entire professional wrestling world by storm, and you're just going to relegate him and downplay him to low to mid card status.
Right.
So when you have the pipe bomb and everything following that brought me, I had a buddy, my man Deuces Bradley. He texted me and he goes, "Dude, go on YouTube and watch this pipe bomb."
Yeah.
Because he knew I'd stop watching because I was so frustrated. So I go and I watch, and that pipe bomb single-handedly brought me back to WWE, and I watched. And let's say, this is one of those where I was like, the build-up is almost impossible to have a match that meets the build-up. And they have two banger matches that 100% meet the expectation. Like I said, it's hard to pick which match is better, Money in the Bank or the SummerSlam match.
Right. Well, it's like we said, each one was great in its own right, with Money in the Bank being in Chicago and the crowd just being absolutely on a whole other level. And then SummerSlam, where you have just another banger match just as a whole.
Yeah, like I'm saying, I think if this was in Chicago, I think everybody would say this was the better match. But there's something about a hot crowd that can make any match, not to say that the match in Money in the Bank wasn't amazing, because it was, but it just makes it that much better. Now, the only reason this isn't on my list, and it's just, I'm being nuanced, but this is a top 10 for SummerSlam, which has had since 1988. We're talking 36 events, minimum of 10, so we're talking close to over 300, close to 400 matches, and we're only picking 10, so I have to be nuanced.
Right.
The only thing I didn't like the finish.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I didn't like the finish, and honestly, at the time, I did like the finish, but it was everything after.
Right.
It was the execution. It was to have Kevin Nash come in and do what he did was unexpected. It definitely threw us for a loop, but then you have the connection of Kevin Nash and Triple H, and you've got Triple H in this authority position where he can't necessarily do anything, but he's using Kevin Nash as his hitman. I'm all for it, but then, like I said, everything that kind of followed it didn't book right. It didn't. But so that's the only thing, and like I said, I'm probably being too nuanced. But I said, when we're talking about 10 matches,
well, it's like you said, at the time we watched it, the finish was great.
Yeah.
But then looking back on it in hindsight, it's like
it just leaves a sour taste in my mouth because of what could have been and what wasn't.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. What you got for number 3?
Number 3 for me, where it should be, at least in the top 3. The return of the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Okay? Of all time. Mr. WrestleMania. Okay? The icon, the showstopper, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, returns, and he had returned, he had been in the camera, he was doing some stuff with his buddies in the Clique and the NWO, that kind of faded, and then there was the draft, there was the free agency, there was the decision, Triple H deciding where he's going to go, and Shawn comes and says, hey man, let's have some fun, and he throws him a DX shirt. And this is 2002, so I'm 14 years old at this time. I'm more interested in ladies than I am in professional wrestling. So I hadn't stopped watching, but I wasn't watching regularly. Once again, this is one of those moments where I start watching religiously again. And Triple H and Shawn come out, and the music's playing, and I'm a teenager, but I'm like a little kid again. Okay, it's back to 5th grade where I'm getting sent to the principal's office for crotch chopping. Okay, and Triple H kicks Shawn Michaels and pedigrees him.
Yep.
And then there's the unknown attacker, which we all knew was Triple H.
Right.
And we have Shawn Michaels and Triple H in a match I never thought I'd see. Because they were homies.
Yeah.
They were best friends. Like, since the time where Sergeant Slaughter tried to have them fight each other, and then they basically started D-Generation X and said, hey, by the way, did you not realize we're best friends, you moron? And, even through his retirement, when he would come back for anything, Shawn and Triple H were inseparable. They were a team, okay? And Shawn, who had not wrestled in 4 years, thought we would never see him wrestle again with his back injury that he suffered at Royal Rumble in 1998 against The Undertaker in the casket match. Like, I didn't think I'd ever see Shawn Michaels wrestle again. And here he comes back, and he puts on a freaking banger.
Yeah.
A 5-star match. I mean, everything but the kitchen sink. I mean, there's blood, there's guts, there's tears, there's emotion. This match has everything. Like, Triple H accuses Shawn Michaels of holding him down. HBK brokenhearted by who he thought is his best friend turning on him. I mean, come on. This match. This isn't just this isn't a top SummerSlam match. This is a top match of all time. Period.
Enough said. But anyway, now we get into number 2. Honestly, I feel like we can get this one at the same time because I think we've got it in the same spot. Our number 2, the Hardy Boys versus the Dudley Boys versus Edge and Christian in 2000.
TLC number 1. And it should be number 1 because it's the best one.
Oh, yeah. In my opinion, it's the only one.
I mean, WrestleMania 17 is really close. 2001,
yeah,
but it's really close. But this, like I said, this one, this is the standard.
That's what I'm saying. This was the
how you have Shawn and Razor, and they set the standard for the ladder match, and then you have the Dudleys come in and bring that ECW hardcore style. They bring in the tables. And, believe it or not, tables were not prevalent in WWF matches at this time. I mean, there were some tables here and there. I mean, most of the time...
it was mostly just the announce desk.
It was mostly the announce desk, and a lot of time it was the announce desk. It was falling through the announce desk. It was doing a move, like you have Triple H versus Cactus Jack, where they've got the table and they do the pile driver through the table. Very, not to say cut and dry, but very simplistic, like announce table, like do a move through the table, or fall from something through the table.
Right.
We had never seen stacked tables. We had never seen tables leaned against. We'd never seen tables held up by two ladders. Like, these guys were artists.
Yes.
With tables. They did things with tables we didn't know were possible, legal, or otherwise. And then you take the Edge and Christian with the chairs and the concerto, which, nowadays with CTE and everything like that, it's kind of hard to do those moves.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But you had three. I mean, let's say 3 tag teams, 6 men, 3 kinds of weapons.
It doesn't get any better than that.
And
honestly.
what they did not only stands the test of time. It is, like I said, it's the standard, and you have an entire pay-per-view now
dedicated to that one match.
Dedicated because of that one match. Not like, it's like Shawn and Undertaker, Bad Blood. And then, with Undertaker and Mankind, they solidified. And so you had Hell in a Cell. But Hell in a Cell doesn't have... Does Hell in a Cell... Hell in a Cell has its own pay-per-view right now.
Yeah, it does.
Hell in a Cell has its own pay-per-view. But like I say, there's been a lot of Hell in a Cells. I mean, probably most people would say Mankind and Undertaker is the most memorable. But to sit there and have a conversation of what was the best from bell to bell... I don't think many people are... you might get a lot of arguments with Hell in a Cell. You're not going to get many arguments here. This is the best one.
100%. But yeah, so now we get into our number ones. I will start off this one because this one, you may have it lower on your list, but I have it number 1 just because of how much of a personal connection I have with this one. So my number 1 was the Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio ladder match for the custody of Dominic. This was the first pay-per-view that I watched as a young kid.
Okay.
I remember because my cousin Hunter came over and we got the pay-per-view. I was super excited to see it. I'd seen this rivalry built up for so long and seeing all the interactions that Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio had. This storyline just kept building and building, and I was so invested in it. And so then to have it culminate, just from beginning to end, all the stuff that went on whenever... Vicky Guerrero got involved and held Eddie back. Dominic got in the ring and tried to shake the ladder. Eddie looked like he was about to hit him, and Ray comes in behind. Almost had like a horrible botch at one point. I don't know if you remember watching this match or not, but both guys, I think they were trying to flip someone over, and the ladder just kind of twisted.
Yep.
And both guys came down, which could have ended very poorly for both of them. But this match for me, personally, I feel like is the best SummerSlam match. Great storytelling, great entertainment, very brutal action from both guys. I just thought this was, in my opinion, the best SummerSlam match of all time. So, that's my spiel.
I love to sit here and tell you that you're wrong and you're stupid, but this was your first pay-per-view?
My very first one.
Nothing like your first time.
Exactly.
Nothing gets you wetter than the first.
You got that right.
With sweat.
With perspiration, that is.
I'm your father, Dominic.
I'm your papi.
I'm your papi.
Man.
It was, dude, it was
that was also the time when Ray had the best entrance music, in my opinion.
Yes, 100%.
Who's that jumping out the sky?
Yep, no, I like that one a lot better.
I was hoping he'd finish it.
And Eddie was at just the absolute pinnacle of his career.
Yes. Gosh, I miss Eddie Guerrero. I miss him so much.
We all miss Eddie Guerrero. Can you imagine what Eddie Guerrero would be doing nowadays?
Oh my gosh! I can't even imagine.
What if we had Eddie Guerrero at the same time that we had CM Punk and we had had Daniel Bryan?
Oh man, I miss him so much.
Yeah, can you imagine an Eddie Guerrero match with Ricochet?
Man. You're gonna get me emotional now.
I know, right? No,
that's probably one of the few times whenever I saw anything happen in the wrestling world where I genuinely bawled my eyes out.
Oh yeah,
I was absolutely devastated. And whenever I watched the show where they did the tribute to Eddie,
yeah,
I can't go back and watch it. It tears me up so much.
The tribute to Eddie had me. The only one that had me worse was Owen.
Yeah.
When you watch, you're excited, you're a little kid, you're excited to watch something, and then you immediately...
It's just everything just comes, just destroys you.
At that point in my life, I still had grandparents, I still had that, Owen was the first, for me, Owen was, the first death that, hit close to home.
Yeah.
I never knew him. I never met him.
Oh, yeah. Same with Eddie Guerrero. That was the first death in wrestling where it just tore me up.
Yeah. No. No.
Sorry we went off on the whole sad rant there, but I mean, that's why we're so passionate about this. We love this. We've loved this since we were kids, and this is something that has stayed with us for a long time, and it's a part of us. And so getting the chance to talk about it is a joy for both of us.
So my number one, like I said, it's another one that's kind of similar to yours. It's not my first pay-per-view, but it was it's like two of my favorite wrestlers meeting together, not for the first time. They had an amazing build-up with some of the greatest segments in the history of Monday Night Raw. We have DX versus the Nation of Domination leaders, WrestleMania main event future stars, and nowadays we call them the COO and the final boss. Triple H versus The Rock for the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam 1998 in a ladder match. And this ladder match is absolutely fantastic. This ladder match is hard-hitting. It is brutal. The Rock and Triple H, they absolutely give everything in this match. They put themselves on the road to main event status in this match. This is a match that literally took both men who were seen as good mid-carders with potential and made them guaranteed superstars. A year from this date, both men will be in the world title conversation.
Yes.
Because of this match. And for that, and for its impact on the business, for everything that's happened since that match, with those guys at the helm of the business and loving this business and their heart for this business. And they did not like each other when they had this match.
No.
This is a match between two men who had genuine heat in the back. And they had to be put in a match where they could legitimately hurt each other to the nth degree, and they protect each other because they're both two of the most consummate professionals in the history of this business. And they took care of each other, and they did everything to put each other over in this match. And they both succeeded. And let's say for that, this isn't for me. This is not just a match. This is what professional wrestling is. The business of professional wrestling, the passion of professional wrestling, the technical acumen, the emotional, storytelling, selling, everything. Like, if you understand the history and the context of this match and you watch this, you will understand wrestling in its most perfect form. And to me, there's nothing else that could be number one. So there you go. There you have it. That's our top 10. Take them or leave them. Let us know what you think. We really, at the end of the day, we know our opinions. We want to know yours. Let us know. And like I said, as many people as go in, we're going to give out a free 2 passes to either the next DCCW event or the next Guardians event. You'll choose, but you got to submit. You got to post on the comments either on YouTube or on Facebook or Instagram. Okay, that's the deal.
Could have said it better myself. But anyway, guys, it's time for some high spots and botches. So, for high spots this week, I had a couple, but one that I thought was really good just because of how they're building this. Rowan's video package from the Wyatt 6.
Did you cry?
I came close.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I didn't cry, but I was like, man, this isn't script. This is real.
Yeah, this is 100%. You can't script that.
No.
All that was just him speaking from his heart.
100%.
And that's what just made this. Honestly, I could give this number one high spot. The other one that I had was
Don't take it from me.
Okay.
My high spot is MJF versus Will Ospreay for the international title. That match, that's the best Will Ospreay match I've ever seen.
100%.
I don't know if it's the best MJF match I've ever seen, but it's without a doubt the best Will Ospreay match I've ever seen. The storytelling, the selling, that's the best selling I've ever seen Will Ospreay do.
Yeah.
And MJF, man, like I said, he's got that level to where he can make other, not to say he makes Will Ospreay better, because Will Ospreay is a fantastic talent, but MJF's not going to do all the flipping and all the dives and everything like that. He tells his story. He wrestles his match. He gets stuff over that doesn't require him to kill himself. And then to have two wrestlers who are very different in styles. I mean, both charismatic. We're not going to argue that for 2 seconds, but very different in style. And man, they absolutely put on a fantastic match. I mean, this was a long one, too.
Yeah.
And at no point did I need to fast forward.
No. You could have kept just watching this from beginning to end. Maybe skip
when it first started, I'm like, what are they doing? Starting out this entire event?
That's what I thought the very first time. But I was like, you know what? I get it.
They gave it time to breathe. They let them. I mean, at the end of the day, they probably could have gone 2 hours.
Honestly, I would have been just fine with it. Like, here, take my money.
Yeah, this was fantastic. Honestly, the only thing I have negative to say about this is, what are you going to do with these two guys for All In now?
Exactly. Like, I mean, I don't know where you can go with this, or I don't know what's going to happen. But
I mean, obviously, there's going to be a return because MJF won. And so Will Ospreay is going to want to, challenge and try to get the title back. So I mean, it's possible we might see. But all I'm saying is this match was so amazing. The fact that we got to watch it for free. Hey,
thank you, Tony.
That's like a nip slip, man. I got it for nothing.
But anyway, as far as botches go, I really only had one. And it was from Monday Night Raw. The match with Jey Uso and Dominic Mysterio. The botched hip attack where it didn't even look like he touched him at all. It was just like he ran into the corner, just put his back in there, and Dominic's just laying there like, oh, okay. That's the only one I would give on that. I thought it was funny watching it back, but yeah, that's my only botch this week. I don't know what you got on yours, but yeah, that was mine. Or if you got any.
No, I mean, like I say, honestly, this week, what's funny is the dirt sheets. I didn't get to watch SmackDown until later in the weekend. The dirt sheets would have me believe that SmackDown was an utter and complete failure. Like, people were tearing it apart, saying it's the most boring. I watched it. I didn't understand what was wrong with it. Like, right. I mean, did it have a whole bunch of high spots? Did it have a whole lot of OMG moments? No, not really. But they have multiple storylines that are being framed through the show. They moved every storyline forward. Matches were good. I mean, nothing was terrible. So the only thing I have to sit there and say is my botch is the internet wrestling community for this week being selfish, entitled little buttholes, because 3 years ago, this would have been considered a top-tier SmackDown.
100%.
But because of how much better the product has gotten under the tutelage of Paul Levesque and his team and everybody that's working their butts off to give you entertainment, you are going to sit there and give a very good Friday Night SmackDown negative attention and call it boring and useless. Shut your mouths.
Absolutely.
Okay? Go watch mid-2000s Raws and SmackDowns. Go watch 2014 to 2018, 19, 20. Okay? No, 21, 22 as well. Go watch 8 years of crap. Go watch the McMahons come out to the ring and admit that their product is balls and that they're going to make it better. And then they commence to make it even worse.
Yeah.
This era is so much better.
Exponentially better.
Than many, 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 many years. And so many of us have been watching for decades. And for some of these IWC young watching fans to come on and witch and moan and complain about what? You didn't have some major moment on a Friday night 2 weeks before a major pay-per-view? Shut your mouth.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
That's right. Don't just sing it, bring it.
Absolutely. I'm so proud of you. You went on a rant there, but you used your words wisely.
Well, we only have so much money for censors.
Exactly. So, gotta save it for something. But anyway, guys.
Blow?
Huh?
Hookers and blow?
No. What is wrong with you?
More than one thing.
You're a filthy, filthy man, John. But anyway, guys, that's our episode for this week. Thank you so much for watching and thank you for listening. I want to remind you guys, we are on social media. Go check us out and follow us. We're on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can see all of our content on here, all of our video episodes and commentary content. Also, I want to remind you of the upcoming events. Guardians Legacy, August 3rd at the Rosenwald High School Gym in Panama City, Florida. Doors open at 6. Bell time is at 7. Don't miss out on that. Also, Kraken Pro Wrestling is back in Tifton, Georgia at the Mott Littman Gym. Doors open at 6. Bell time is at 7. Great events happening. Great things to come. But anyway, guys, well, like we always say, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. But as always, keep it 5 stars.